Yes, people, how we doing? Back again. Another week of January complete. You made it, well done. And for me, another week with no shows. So I've been going to the gym every day, believe it or not, trying to lose some of this pudding. And the other day on my Instagram, I put a little Q&A box. And also I've been collecting a few questions from my comments from these videos as well. So I thought I'd do my best at answering a few of those. Thanks a lot for the questions. They're really varied. I've got some asking me about shows, some asking me about musical artists, some asking me about DJ tips, some asking me about content stuff, and some complete curveballs. So yeah, I'm going to do my best to answer them as best I can, and hopefully it can help someone, or even just give you something to watch for 10 minutes on your Sunday afternoon. But anyway, yeah, without further ado, I'm going to start off with the Instagram questions because there's a load of them. The first question is, what's the end goal? Well done, by the way. Thanks, first of all. The end goal, I don't actually know what the end goal is. There was a time when I was doing residencies and weekly sort of gigs and student gig work and stuff like that, that I used to say my end goal would be just being able to go to places in the world and explore and DJ while I'm there and call it a work trip. So I feel like, yeah, I've completed that one really. Like from what I set out to do, I am now playing all over the world, which is mental to say. But yeah, so what I initially set out to do, I've kind of achieved. I guess my goals have shifted a bit now, and I'm thinking more, what festival can I play? What artists can I support? What lineups can I be on? What venues can I do? And it's just a never-ending rolling obsession with doing more than I did the year before. So just keep going, basically. The next one, what made you get into DJing? Thanks, Ollie. What made me get into DJing was, I'm from a very musical family. My mum loves music. My stepdad played the piano professionally. I'm pretty sure it's the same with most DJs' stories, but the house was full of music from when I was a baby, and it still is, you know. And when I was in my teens, I started thinking about the profession of DJing, and I downloaded some programs on my laptop and just messed about with a few MP3s, and I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. And also, I guess at the heart of me, there's a little geek in there. I think the same can be said for most DJs, but there's a little geek who really likes how music can be blended together, and especially for me now, about how I can link songs with words and things like that. So I think pretty much just from the first time when I downloaded a free program on my laptop and mixed two MP3s together, I kind of knew that this was something that I wanted to pursue. Okay, the next one is completely different. Lil Baby or Gunna, who's better? It says personal, not club, so I'm assuming that means your personal opinion, not like what goes off more in a club. And for me, the answer, Lil Baby versus Gunna, I think it's Gunna, you know. The next one says, bring out a Joe Lobel DJ course, bro. It is something I've dabbled with the idea of, to be honest, linking up with maybe a brand like a Crossfader or something like that and seeing if we could do something together. It's in the back of my mind. Maybe we'll do it one day. What is your most memorable gig thus far and your all-time favourite song? My most memorable gig, I think two answers. You always remember your first one. I remember my first ever gig, and it was playing at a underground club in my hometown in the UK, and the club opened at 2 a.m. I think, and it closed at 6, 7, 8 a.m. It was like the late night spot where people sort of went to die on a night out. It was not glamorous at all. I DJ'd there when I was underage. I didn't get paid. I got paid in a couple of beers, I think. But I'll always remember it. All my friends came and they waited up until 4 a.m. to watch me DJ. And I DJ'd to 20 people, 10 of who were my friends. One was my mum. And yeah, so I'll always remember that one. That was a good one. And then most memorable in more recent times. That's a tricky one. There's been so many great experiences, man. Maybe I'd say like when I played at Ushuaia in Ibiza, that was a really cool experience. It wasn't necessarily my busiest gig or anything like that, but just how grand it all is. How when you walk into the doors of Ushuaia, it's voted like, I don't know, is it the best outdoor club in the world or in the top vibe, I'm sure, but just how you're welcomed, like the artist dressing room, the backstage area, the stage itself, and just everything about it. And that was one of the first like really big things that I did, so I think that's probably the most memorable. The second half of that question was, and my all-time favourite song. All-time favourite song is a crazy question to ask a DJ, but never too much Luther Vandross. Okay, now we're getting into it. I'm going to group a couple of these together because this one says, any advice for DJs looking to get bigger bookings or to get more recognition? This one says, what's your biggest advice to upcoming DJs who look up to you and your work? Another one says, how can I promote myself in the best way? And again here, finally, what's the most effective way to promote yourself as a DJ when you're just starting? Which all of those, I think the answer to all of those is linked. So I always say the first, obviously most important thing is practice the hell out of whatever equipment you've got. If you've got a controller, if you're using a full CDJ setup or starting with a vinyl setup, the most important thing is obviously to be dope at DJing. So practice and practice till your fingers bleed. When we all start this game, like, we absolutely love it and we do it at every opportunity that we can get. So yeah, I'd definitely say that's number one, most important. It's kind of a given, but make sure you're airtight. Get your mixes as tight as you possibly can. Work trying out different transitions and working out what works. If you're a beginner DJ that has started getting club bookings or like a weekly residency maybe, or even playing at house parties for your friends, if you're starting to actually DJ out in the world, document every step of it. Whether you don't think your mixes are absolutely 100% yet, or there's other DJs that you look up to and you think, oh, I'm not as good as that person or whatever, it doesn't matter. Document every single thing. Record every set that you can. If you're DJing with a laptop, press record and then you can listen back when you're finished. If you're DJing on USBs, you could even get yourself a little recorder and listen back to your mixes, and I think that is really helpful when you can be critical of yourself. Listening through to, oh, actually, next time I do this, I could mix that a little bit better, or actually, I played a really high energy song here and then I went to a bit of a low one which kind of killed it, and you can make tweaks as you go. And then yeah, that leads me on to the last thing, content. Content is so important, and content is literally the reason. Obviously, first I made sure that my DJing was tight and I put the hours in, doing the residencies, doing house parties for free, doing guest sets for free, doing residency work for really cheap, working my way up until I was like able to do it as a full-time job. And then once all of that was airtight and I was in the job and I was doing it, then the most important thing was to document that. Get as much content as you can. Back when I was coming up, I don't want to give my age away here, but phone cameras were no good. People didn't have cool little action cameras and things like this for £200-300. Really, if you wanted like really high quality content back then, you were looking at paying a professional to come and do it. But now we're in this world where everyone has one of the best cameras in their pocket, an iPhone, a Samsung Galaxy, or whatever you've got. And it really doesn't take much just to go onto Amazon, type phone clamp or tripod for phone, set that up at every single gig you do and film yourself, and then clip that out into TikToks. And if you're at a really cool gig or if you're at a busy gig, it's the perfect time just to demonstrate vibes. I watched something before and I think it said something like, people go onto TikTok to either learn, to laugh, or to be inspired. And I think, yeah, if you're at a really cool gig, remember that when people are sat on TikTok, they're just sat at home. If you can just show off some sort of good vibes, busy vibes, or really cool mix, or whatever, you're either going to teach someone something, you're going to inspire someone. So content. Do as much as you can, as early as you can. Another thing that I always go on about is network. And the social medias make it so easy now to scroll through, look for other events in your town or city, look for events in the neighbouring city and town, link up with the DJs from up and down your country, send the messages, check in, ask how they are, ask how their gigs are, ask if there's any chance that you could go and warm up for them, ask if there's any chance they want to warm up for you, or just create networks. I've got pretty far just from being nice to people. And when I meet people, remembering their names and sending them a follow-up message the next day and saying, oh, it's really nice to meet you. Listen, if anything comes up, I'm here, I'm ready. And maybe go and do that first set for cheaper than you normally would do. Forget about your pride, I think, when you're starting out. All you want to do is just get through as many doors as you possibly can. And then when you get through those doors, that's where all those practice hours come in. Make sure you smash your set. Take good content, upload that, tag the party, tag the venue, do all these things that make promoters want to rebook you. If I don't have a videographer with me in a particular venue, I'll take my own camera. I'll set up a camera in the booth. I don't care. Even if my name is the big one at the top, I don't care. I'll sit in the DJ booth clamping cameras to things, and I'll press record, and then I'll edit it all on the plane home. And then best believe the next day, I'm posting a video saying, last night was sick. Thanks a lot to blah, 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 and uploading a cool reel from the night before. Promoters love that because immediately you're promoting their event, you're promoting yourself. They think, oh yeah, Joe came, and not only did he DJ and smash it, but he also recorded the whole set, and he's been posting clips of my event for the last 3 weeks. Those things matter. And I think things like that make you stand out, as opposed to somebody that just turns up, says, does the DJ set, and then leaves. So yeah, that's my advice to DJs that are starting out. Okay, next one. According to you, what's the future of DJing? I don't know. I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that, but I guess, as with every industry, technology seems to be having a huge effect. I mean, impact's probably not the right word, but it's having a huge effect on DJing, isn't it? If you look at things like Serato and record box stems, and being able to just get an a cappella or an instrumental or just the drums or just the guitar out of a song is mind-blowing to me. So I guess we'll go further down that route. I don't know where it will go. I'm not one of these people that think we'll be replaced by AI. I think there's always going to be a place for parties, and there's always going to be a place for people controlling the narrative of those parties. So I think we're safe. Then the next one is, besides DJing, what robs you of your time the most? Besides DJing, what robs me of my time the most is definitely content editing. Editing takes me more time out of a week than DJing does, for sure. But that's, like I say, just because I'm so focused on content. What else robs me of time? Flying. Airports, traffic, and flying. They rob me of quite a lot of time too. The same person said, how long do you prep for a gig? There's not too many gigs that I specifically prep for these days. Sometimes if I'm doing something specific, like when I did the live recording with Vibe Room, and I knew I was going to be supported by musicians and singers, then I did properly prepare a set and made sure it went on a journey and made sure that it was all in key so that the musicians could keep up and things like that. But normally when I just go for my sets now, I know my power hour or my power 90 minutes, and I know which songs I'm going to dip in and out of. What is your biggest low in the industry? Ooh, I've been lucky in the last couple of years. I haven't had any major low moments. One, obviously, which was a low for everyone in every industry, but COVID was pretty killer. I felt like we all just lost a purpose completely in that period, so that was an interesting one. I remember when I was younger, and I used to play on a Friday night every week at a club in my city, and you know, I did the sort of 11 till 4 every week, and I used to think it was going really well. Then one week out the blue, I just get a call from the person who ran the party saying, look, Joe, we're actually just going to switch the DJ up on a Friday night. And I had no idea why. I still don't know to this day why, what I did wrong. But I remember that really crushed a young Joe Lobel, because, yeah, I mean, I don't like criticism. I don't like people not thinking I'm good. So that was probably my biggest low point, but that was about 10 years ago now. And I've forgotten about it now, honestly. What's your biggest achievement in 2024? The thing I'm most proud of is sorting out my US visa, man. It's not for the faint-hearted. You have to fill out a load of stuff, gather a load of evidence about yourself. You have to get signed expert witness letters, basically people high up in the industry sort of confirming that you are who you say you are and that you are a sort of person of notability, and go back and forth with American attorneys and my UK management and go through all the contracts of all the shows that we've had in the last few years and send those over as proof and pay a shed load of money. So yeah, when that was approved, I was absolutely over the moon. Next one, show the chords and stuff and how you run a laptop to CDJ 3000s and a mixer. For me, I've got a USB hub, 2 USB cables that go into each deck and another USB cable that goes into the mixer. It's really simple. I'm not really qualified to be doing a full tutorial on cable setups, but head to Crossfader's YouTube. There's loads of videos on there showing you how to do those kind of things. The next one says, what is the biggest mistake you made early on as a DJ that you wish you knew when you were younger? Ooh. I used to mix songs way too fast. I used to blast through songs. We're talking, I wouldn't even let the chorus play, and then I'd mix into the next one, and then I wouldn't even let that chorus play. So that was one thing. Somebody very wise in this industry told me to take a deep breath and slow down and let some of the songs breathe, because although I was really in the moment, everybody else was just dancing, trying to enjoy the songs. So that's one of the biggest things I learned when I was younger. This one says, another tech question. This one says, which MacBook are you using for letting stems work correctly? I have a M2 MacBook Air. Then yeah, the last few questions are all about equipment. And you know what, I think I'm just gonna make a whole video on equipment because I've bought so many cameras, so many microphones, so many dongles, so many lights, so many stands that I'm just gonna do a full video on that. So yeah, stay tuned. There's one here that says, for your Q&A session, how did you handle the pressure of your first gig? And also, where do you draw inspiration to make really nice mashups? Like your process of thought, do you sit down and write down what to blend, or is there some software you use that helps you? I've said this before, but whenever a new song or a song that I want to make a transition comes out, I'll often sit and listen through the a cappella just to listen to the words. Sometimes I'll even get the lyrics up online and have a little look. That's how I create my wordplay transitions. How do you handle the pressure of your first gig? That's all just about practice, I think, isn't it? You'd be better at an interview if you'd prepared. You'd be better at a play if you'd practiced the lines. Just the same. Just practice, practice, practice. Think about what you're going to do in your set. Even for your first few sets, if you're really worried about it, plan them. Plan the actual full set, and as you're DJing, you might look around at the crowd and think, oh, the energy's dipped, maybe I need to throw a different one in. But have a rough plan to fall back on in your head. This one says, what inspired you to take on DJing as a career? And I remember I went to Ibiza. We went to watch Swedish House Mafia at Pasha, and that was just the moment. I was already doing some DJing around clubs, but that moment when I saw those guys in that ridiculous super club playing absolute bangers, lights going off, everyone stood staring up at the DJ booth, hands in the air, and I just thought, this is me. So yeah, I've never forgot that. But anyway, listen, that's it. I don't want to keep you all day. Thanks so much for commenting some questions on my YouTube, sending them directly to me in my DMs, answering my Q&A posts that I put on my stories. I appreciate you. This video would be non-existent without you guys. So thanks so much. And as always, yeah, my DMs are open if you've got some questions. Pop them in the comments even on this video. And also, last but not least, if you've made it all the way here, I know it's only baby numbers, but I'm just about to hit 10k subscribers on here. So if you haven't, click subscribe please, and then we can make that happen. And yeah, next week, a video on equipment. I'll see you there.